Greetings. Once again, I've been away, so I really haven't had anything to talk about, but I guess now I do. What I want to talk about now is look at this beautiful neighborhood. I can't get over it, it never gets old to me. What I want to talk about now is the potential to build another Black Wall Street is here in Mexico. I'm explaining to you how and I'm explaining to you why. So, the Yucatan, or in particular, Merida, there's a whole lot, it's a beautiful city, has beautiful people, but there's a whole lot as far as services, you know, that can be done better. I'm in no wise complaining about being here. It's a fabulous place. I would never leave, to be honest with you. I would never go back to the United States, and that's going to be another video. But there's a potential to build another Black Wall Street here. And the reason being is because, money. Money is the key. Everybody kowtows to money. And, if you pay dues, you can almost make just about anything happen. And the government's not going to bother you. You don't have to worry about the government sabotaging where you're trying to build. There's a lot of things that could be done better. Like, for instance, their version of the DMV, their version of the immigration process. Just got my permanent residency, by the way. Thank you, Mexico. Viva Mexico. But here, if the black people came together as here, and it's a good number of black people here, if they all came together and pooled their money together, you could actually, buenos dias, you can actually build another Black Wall Street here with no problem. You don't have to worry about being sabotaged. Buenos dias. You don't have to worry about it being sabotaged by, the federal government. You can build unions here. There's really no unions here. There's really no, for instance, when the Italians and the Jews and the Irish came to to New York in the 20s, there really wasn't too many unions. They came and they created unions. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong. But they created unions and it became very lucrative, And so, what I notice about black people here is a lot of black people, especially African Americans, when you see them like in a mall or you see them in a public place, you think that because you're black and because they're black, you guys are like, hey, what's up, whatever. Nah, they'll look the other way. They'll turn their nose up at you. But the Caribbeans, the Africans, the blacks from Latin America, is like a family reunion. It's like two long lost cousins hugging and embracing. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. Like, I get mad love from blacks from the Caribbean, and blacks from, Africa and blacks from Latin America than I do from African Americans. And that's going to be another video too. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of potential here in Merida. There's a lot of land here that's undeveloped. There's a lot of places where we could build, malls. We could build stores. We have enough black people down here to create another Black Wall Street. Like look at this land right here. So all this land, right? This is a huge piece of land, believe it or not. This is on the other side of Pravada. Like, this is the Pravada on one side. Okay, so this used to be jungle too. All this used to be like jungle land, right? Until like 7-8 years ago. This, if you look all the way down, is jungle land, right? And like my provider's like on the other side of this. This, if enough blacks came together, pooled some money together, we could clear this out and put our own provider on it. And just have like an all black provider, what have you, of all black folks. And within this provider, we could build stores, we could build gyms, we can have, whatever. But black people here, don't think community the way other races do. You know, the Asians will come down here and think community. The Canadians will come down here and think community. You know, other races from other places will come down here and think community. Black people want to be against each other. Black people want to get online and get on Facebook and, you know, and create these, you know, groups and be gatekeepers and keep other black people out and pretend that they're bigger than what they are and disrespect other black people in public and get online and slander other black people. And that's another video coming. This is why we've never been able to build something as a people. It's not crabs in a bucket. It's just niggering. You know, we got to stop niggering. And I know this video will probably get, you know, not viewed at all because I don't have too many subscribers. But yeah, today I got something to say. Today I got something to say. You know, black people, we are our own downfall. You know, man, if a bunch of Jews came down here, this place would be dominated already. If a bunch of, you know, Greeks or Russians or Koreans, they're coming. They're here. They're like on the other side of town. And they're doing it. Black folks, we just come here, we retire, and we die. We don't build anything. Look at all this land. All this land. We don't build anything. All we do is build bullshit online. We talk shit to other black people, disrespect other black people, look down on other black people, and treat other black people bad while all these other races are building. And then we bitch and complain talking about how come we don't have anything? How come we're being done wrong? You don't even take care of your own people. We don't even take care of our own people. My vision for blacks in Mexico is this, the way the Italians did. Maybe this is saying too much. You know, we set up a board of governors, you know, that's going to speak for black folks here in Mexico. And we instruct black folks that are coming in, look, you may be concerned that you don't have a job, you don't know how you're going to make money. Don't worry. Just come down. We'll take you in. We'll get you a job because we'll have our own businesses to where, you know, we'll be able to employ our own people. Right? You come down, and this is the code of conduct. Don't come down here to Mexico acting like a nigga. Don't be out here loud. Don't be disrespecting these people. Don't go in their restaurants and be loud and boisterous and disrespectful. Don't go in the malls. Don't go in public places and act disrespectful because you're representing us. And if you misrepresent us in public, we're gonna put you out. And so we need a code. Black folks need a code because in Black Wall Street we had a code. We had a code of conduct. And we just don't have any code because we don't respect each other. But that's going to change. Because what we need to do is we need the men in our community to stand up. First of all, we need the men. We can't depend on the women to lead this thing. Buenos dias, señora. You know, we need the men to step up. And we need a group of men. Like they say, a few good men. We don't need a lot. We just need a few good men to step up. One being myself. I'll put my money where my mouth is. And we need to come together, pool our money together, and start building. The problem isn't our women. Because, see, our women are going to be women. They're going to gossip. They're going to get online. They're going to get catty. You know, they're going to start, you know, doing all this other crazy shit that they do. But the men need to be holding it down. The men need to be checking the women. And the men need to come together. Men need to stop being so petty. You know, we got brothers down here that's willing to get together and do this. But the men have to come together because there's so much opportunity. You know, you know what? With enough money, you could tell the government, listen, we want to contract out the services for immigration to us, which means that we will facilitate the immigration process. You know, here's some money, you know, allow us, you know, let us invest in this government and let us build this thing to where we can, you know, contract out, or you can contract out the immigration process to us. And we can start facilitating, you know, immigration forms. We can start facilitating all sorts of things. You know, trash. You know, we could, you know, give the government, hey, look, here's this money. We want to do is we want to provide better services for trash pickup. Or we want to provide better DMV services to where people can get processed in and out quicker. You know, contract out some of that to us. We'll hire some people. Let us manage that. You know, there's a lot of things, you know, even construction. Construction is another one. You know, people are coming out here, they're getting gypped. Some of them, not all of them. You know, they're losing because there's really no oversight. And so what the Italians and the Jews did, they created oversight, you know, bureaus that made sure the process went the way it was supposed to go. And you really don't have too much of that out here. I haven't seen it. From what I've heard of the people who've had problems, you know, apparently there isn't any bureau to hold anybody accountable. It's pretty much like anything goes. And that's the opportunity. That's the opportunity for us, you know, to be what the Jews and Italians were 100 years ago in the 1920s America. We could be that in 2020s, you know, Mexico, at least in Merida, at least in. And so hopefully what I'm saying isn't, you know, something inflammatory. No, Mexico is great. Mexico is great. I love this country. I love this city. I would never go back to America at all. And I'm appreciative of the opportunity that Mexico is. You know, I'm appreciative of the opportunity that Mexico is giving a lot of black people. Mexico is giving black people the opportunities they could not have in America. And we need to take advantage of that. You know, we can create a Black Wall Street here without any problems. Because the people here don't trip on skin color, believe it or not. You might have somebody that does. Maybe, you know, humans are humans. But they don't trip on your skin color. If you pay these people well, you know, you give them a job opportunity, they're grateful. They don't care if you was, you know, black, pink, green. You give them that opportunity, they're with you. And so this is about our economics and opportunity. And we as black people, we don't want to come here to retire and die. We want to come here to build. That should be the mission. Just food for thought. See you in the next one.